Find your way here. What calls to you? What drives you? What makes you keep searching for a better answer, a better way forward? Find your beat, your rhythm, your voice, your place among the trailblazers, the visionaries, those who found their way here and created a legacy for you to build on. Part of a vast array of students from all walks of life. Find your why, your breakthrough, your opportunity to transform with educators whose passion for teaching and research inspires discovery and ignites change. Find your wow, your aha moment, your place in a growing family of Spartans who found their way here to a vibrant campus deeply woven into the fabric of a thriving city. Find your inspiration, your connection, your community, a future of earned achievement, pride and purpose. Find more than an education. Find your journey, your home, and make a remarkable impact every day. UNC Greensboro. Find your way here.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Facebook live stream brought to you by the Undergraduate Admissions Office here at UNC Greensboro. My name is Trey. I'll be our host this evening. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have questions for our three wonderful Spartans here, go ahead and start asking those in the comments and we will be getting to those shortly. Tonight we're talking to real Spartans who have had real experiences here at UNCG, and we're very excited to meet them, very excited to talk to them so that way they can tell you their experiences here, tell you their stories, and tell you how they found their way here, and hopefully you can do the same as well. So let us go ahead and start down here at this end of the couch, and then we will move on down. Just tell us what your name is, what your major is, and some things that you might be interested in letting our future Spartans know.
Okay. Hey y'all, my name is Michaela Keene. I'm a sophomore communication studies major with a minor in professional selling, and I'm from Durham, North Carolina. Something that I would want y'all to know about UNCG is that it's so different from other universities. For me specifically, when I stepped on campus, it just felt like a family. I don't know how to explain it, but hopefully when you come here and visit, you'll feel that.
All right. Hey everyone, my name is Alpha Kuyate. I'm a sophomore music major and I'm from Wake Forest, North Carolina. Something that I want you guys to know about UNCG is that it will eventually feel very homey. It's a very tight-knit community. Like you can't walk somewhere without seeing someone you know. So hope you guys get involved and make some new friends.
Hi guys, my name is Ashika. I am a biology major with a chemistry minor. I'm also a pre-med major. Something I think you should know about UNCG. I don't know, but I can tell you I love it because the diversity here makes me feel like a lot more at home and accepted. And I can't really think of anything else, but I hope you guys enjoy it.
I promise it'll come to you later on.
Yeah, just like 10 minutes in, yeah.
Yes. So what are some of the things that y'all are involved in here on campus, and this time we can start at the other end and work down?
I am an SIP leader, which is supplemental instruction program, so it's like study sessions for people who want to study extra in the class outside of class time. I'm also in the Alpha Lambda Delta Honor Society, and I am an honors ambassador for the Honors College.
I'm involved in the Spartan orientation staff. I'm a peer academic leader. I'm in the UNCG pep band, and I'm also part of UNCG's co-ed a cappella group, the Chariots.
I'm also a part of the Spartan orientation staff. I'm also a Spartan guide. Something else, I'm part of Student Government Association, also Residence Hall Association, and I also recently got involved in the Lloyd International College.
Nice. So Alpha, kind of give us an idea of what not necessarily a day in the life, because I don't think there is an average day, but what is a music major's life like? Because it's one of our majors that requires an application, or excuse me, an audition, there we go. So what is kind of your specialty within your major?
I'm doing the BA in music right now with concentration in saxophone.
Nice.
So a day in the life of a music major is you're in the music building, you're in the music library, you're in your lesson, or you're in the practice room.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a lot of extra hours, I'd say, that you have to put in. Probably one of the harder disciplines within the campus. But if it's something like you're really passionate about, it'll go like that. It'll just feel like a normal day.
Mm-hmm. And kind of talking about like a very discipline, I have very good friends who were science majors. So Ashika, tell us what a biology major with a pre-med concentration is like.
Very time consuming. You have to study a lot, but I think all the professors have been they're very helpful. They kind of encourage you to go to office hours, even if it seems like scary at first, which it definitely was for a while for me. But I think they really put out there what all the different opportunities you can do inside and outside of class. Like right now I'm doing research, and I'm helping in a class as a learning assistant. There's lots of different things that you can do, and if you get to know your professors and talk to them, they can definitely help you with anything that you have concerns about.
Cool. And so communication studies was my minor. So Michaela, I know that there's kind of a community aspect of being in the communication studies department. Tell us about that.
Definitely. Before I came here, I actually was on my email, and I got an email from, I don't know how to say his last name, it just kind of looks like a Columbus cloud, but it's Christopher Cole something. But we get weekly emails from him. We just got an email saying all the scholarships we can apply for. So we always are in contact with him. So you always know what's happening in the communications community. And they also have welcome back activities and stuff like that. So it's really a community in the communications studies department.
Nice. All right. Well, let's go ahead and start answering some of our questions because we've got a couple here. One question from John: is UNCG known for its biochemistry major with a pre-med track? Hopefully, you might know a little bit about that.
Yes. Yes, definitely. That's a really common one as well. I'm doing biology, and a lot of students find it easier to do biology or just like biology more. I'm one of those people. I'm not a chemistry fan, but if you do like chemistry, there's a lot of those. There's a lot of chemistry labs, biochemistry labs. I actually have a friend right now who's working in a biochemistry lab. She's doing cancer research, so there's a lot of different types of research and tons of professors you can talk to about that. It's really cool.
Cool. You may know my former roommate. His name is Mario. He's in a cancer research lab with Nick Oberlees. Maybe.
Oberlees? Oh, I have a friend who's in the Oberlees lab. So
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay. Well, neat. Anyway, one question from Anaya. As far as high school, what is something that you would advise seniors to keep in mind while finishing out their senior year? I like that question. Any advice, maybe?
I'd say keep going, because I know that lots of times people they tend to get lazy kind of around their senior year. So I'd say make sure that you stay on top of everything, and you make sure you get everything situated, and you make sure you kind of have a basic understanding of the school when you get here. So that way, when it comes to the first day classes or the first week, you're not oh my god, where do I go? What's this? Mm-hmm. I know here there's always going to be people around to help you, but just make sure that you kind of stay focused and keep going with it.
And that's kind of one of the things or one of the aspects of the job of not only a Spartan Guide, but also our SOS, our Spartan orientation staff, to kind of help you kind of guide the way almost, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's see. One other thing that I do want to mention, just from an admissions counselor point of view, trying to still maintain that same level of excellence in your senior year. A lot of people, whenever they are admitted to UNCG or to any school in general, they will say, hey, great, I got admitted in my first semester senior year. I don't really have to try as hard in the second semester senior year. That's not the case, and unfortunately it has happened that we have had to say, we're sorry, but you didn't do well in the second half of your senior year. We're going to have to take back our admission. We don't want to do that. Don't let us do that. Keep that, high level of excellence. Make sure that you're still working hard. Make sure that you're still taking the classes that you need to take. I know in terms of math classes, we do need at least for you to take 4 math classes. And that last math needs to have a prerequisite of Algebra 2, so that's very important. You do need to have 3 sciences as well as social sciences. And then there are some other ones in there that I don't really remember. But if you have questions about them, give me a call and I will answer the phone and be able to direct you to the person who does know. Let's see. One of our next questions comes from Victoria, newly admitted student here. Hi, Victoria. I am planning on majoring in English and education. Do any of you know anyone who is majoring in English? If so, do you know any clubs or organizations that they may be a part of?
Oh, I don't know anyone in English. I know someone in education.
Okay, talk about that.
Well, after you get accepted in the School of Ed, there's like an internship program. She's really busy,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna see her very often. But she's constantly like doing internships. But she says she absolutely loves it. So I'm sorry, I can't tell you anything about English, but I think we have a building, right? They have a lot of organizations and stuff up on their boards.
Yeah, and the School of Education building is actually right beside the admissions office, so if you come talk to us in admissions, we can just pop you right over there to the School of Education building and you can go talk to somebody over there. So it's a pretty nice little proximity that we have. I do know someone who majored in this, she actually did a double major in media studies, which was my degree, and then a double major in English as well, and she was still able to graduate within 4 years. It was definitely a struggle. She definitely had to work hard at it, but it was a very successful experience, and she's very, very happy with her life after her double major. So, gonna move on. Our next question comes from Tony. What sets UNCG apart from other schools, for instance, Chapel Hill? I don't know how many other schools y'all applied for, but I only applied to UNCG and UNC Wilmington, and some of the things that I experienced in my tours were just the different feelings of the campuses. How can y'all say about it?
I mean, the first thing I would say is diversity, diversity, diversity. I toured Chapel Hill, but I didn't enjoy it as much. I mean, obviously it's a good school. You can't discount that at all. But I'd say if you are looking for a diverse environment, we really embrace our diversity here. In fact, in my Bio 112 class, you wouldn't expect to talk about diversity, but we've been talking about how important it is to have different perspectives and different ideas on even the same concept, because we can get so much more done, and it helps us with different advances and things like that. So that's probably my number one point, I would say, if we're comparing.
I'd say that this campus is probably like one of the prettiest ones I've ever stepped foot on. Like, you go to other schools, I'm not gonna name names, but it's all brick. So just walking down College Avenue and seeing like all the trees like start to like change color around the same time, and like it's beautiful.
Definitely. Going off of their points, I also toured the UNC Chapel Hill, and like, if we're going off of feeling, when I stepped on the campus, I feel like a very competitive vibe, which is great, but when you come onto UNCG, you also get the competitive vibe as well as the home vibe. So it's just like a great balance that you have here of like feeling that you're supported as well as you can find things that will challenge you.
And I'm glad you just said the feeling of support, because what you said earlier about being a supplemental instruction program leader, we have a lot of different opportunities to kind of bolster your education, not only in the classroom, but also out of it. So what is being an SIP leader like?
I love it. I've been told before when I was younger, I have a brother, so I teach him a lot of stuff, but like, he tells me constantly that I'm a terrible teacher. but the students at SIP don't tell me that, so I feel like that's an advocate for my not terribleness. But we also have like 3 different tutoring programs. Like, there's so many places. We have a counseling center. There's tons of places you can go for support and help. And if you feel like you're drowning, which I do a lot, but there's so many places you can go to like get help, and that's not just like your friends or something. You have a lot of family here and a lot of friends that you develop over the years, but I think our programs are really helpful in that we can help you academically when that's where you're struggling.
And it's not always the academic help that you sometimes need. A lot of times it's emotional or spiritual or any kind of other help that you might need, and we've got all of it within a 5-minute walk around campus. So it's something that's always available for all of our students here if they ever need it. I don't know if I actually mentioned supplemental instruction program. It's kind of like a step above tutoring. So you sit down, not necessarily one-on-one, is it?
No, it's actually like super casual. Like,
Okay.
we just have like these 4 sessions during a week, and you can choose to come, you can choose not to come. You can show up, you can bring food, you can leave early, you can come late. Like, it's honestly, you just come if you want, ask a question. I had a student come in today. She's like, I can't stay, but I have like one question, and I just answered a question, and she was good to go. Like it's super chill. Like, and it's really up to you if you want to come.
Nice. And then we do have the tutoring, of course, and then we've also got different centers on campus, like our Math Help Center. We've got the Speaking Center as well as the Writing Center. That's where you can really hone in on all of your different skills that you need for whatever class it is that you need. And sometimes your professors may give you a little bit of extra credit for those too, so it's always something nice to look into. Our next question comes from Haley, and they are a transfer student, and they're asking any tips or advice for transfer students coming in for their junior or senior year and adapting to a bigger university. And I think that's kind of a good segue almost into adapting not only from a transfer university or a community college, but just from high school in general, because I don't think any of y'all are transfer students, right?
No.
But what was the transition like coming in from either living at home or going to high school and then going to UNCG, going to college?
I think it was really shocking for me. Like, I was a decent student in high school. I didn't try too hard, but like I got good grades. And then I came here, and I honestly, the first test I got a C on it. I started crying. I was like, Mom, I can't do this. I really can't. And I went home, and I'm a commuter student, so I go home every day. But like, and it was really nice to have my family, but it was really nice to have the whole support system that I had at the school, because I started going to SIP, and I got a tutor, and they were so helpful. And at the end of the semester, I got an A in class, so it was really nice. Also, I do have a transfer student friend. Sorry, but she's from ECU, and she said she loves it here, and you have a lot of advisors, and they'll really help you with the transition, I think. So you should really take advantage of that. Set up meetings.
Nice.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get you in.
My experience was a little bit different, just because a lot of people from my high school came to this area, so they either came to UNCG or went to surrounding colleges. So I always had that support system of my friends. I lived across the hall from somebody I met at my SOAR session. So the way that I made the transition easier is by making friends off from the bat, like at the beginning. So then I knew, like, okay, so these are the type of friends that I need to be around. Just finding friends that support you emotionally and academically, and then also using the services that we have here. And then also getting involved. That was just probably the best thing I could ever do. Being an SOS leader just really took me over the top and really made me really love UNCG, just because, like, you're learning all this information about the university. That's great, but like, you're meeting all these different people that you would never meet, and then they just become your best friends. So getting involved is by far the best thing that you could do to make the transition easier.
I don't think you could be an SOS without like outrageously loving. You will experience that when you come here for SOAR. These folks love what they do.
Very enthusiastic.
Yes.
We try our best.
I once gave a tour around campus during SOAR time, and there was one of the songs that y'all were doing. I think it was the Welcome to the CAF thing.
Yes!
And I swear to you, that was stuck in my head at least for a week.
It's so catchy.
It's so good.
All right. Well, one of our next, I don't think it's a question, but it is from a parent. Their daughter is starting in fall as a dance major. They're coming from Maryland. Welcome, out-of-state student from Maryland. But as a dance major, that's one of our majors that's in what we call the College of Visual and Performing Arts. And Alpha, that's what the school that this music major is in. So do you have any like words of advice for them, or an overview of what it's like being in the CVPA?
Overview of what it's like. I'd say it takes a lot of extra outside, hours. So lots of extra practicing. But you also need to take time for yourself, because if, doing something in the College of Visual and Performing Arts, whether it's art, dance, music, theater, it's something that you have to be like very passionate about. But it's a school environment, so it gets very hard to like separate like the passion from like the need to do well. So you always just gotta keep it in the back of your mind, just like, okay, I'm doing this because I love it, and just make sure that you take time for yourself, relax, and don't let the pressure of school like overwhelm you and then lose like the fire that's in your heart, you know what I mean?
Nice. I like that. Don't lose the fire. That's pretty good. Our next question comes from Chelsea, who just got admitted. Congratulations, Chelsea. I'm planning on majoring in communication studies. Do you have any tips? That's you.
Yay! So with that being said, I just really hope you love speaking because every communications class you have at least 3 speeches, group speeches. It's just like you would be a really good public speaker. So I would just really encourage using the Speaking Center. You'll have to use it for Communications 105 anyways. It's just like an intro class, but you'll learn to love it. They'll help you, tell you exactly what's wrong. They'll say that I'm using my hands too much, or they'll say I'm not making eye contact, but definitely use that center, and our professors are so great. I've gotten a lot of recommendation letters from them, so really get to know your professor, and then you're good to go.
Nice. All right. Well, this question comes from Diamond. How do you cope with being a biology major but not enjoying chemistry?
Oh, it's rough, girl. I don't know. I guess Gen Chem was like, it was not so bad, but then I had to take organic and it was hard. It's not, they say it's not a lot of memorization, but it's a lot of practice. So I think the hardest thing for me is just like practice problems all the time. It's just like homework that's not assigned, which is, why would you do that to yourself? But you know, it is what it is. I don't mind it, but it's not, I definitely don't want to do biochemistry. That's not my thing.
Nice. Well, you know, everybody's got their thing, so
Yes.
you got to stick with what you enjoy, and that's one of the most important things.
Oh, pro tip, find a friend that is really good at it and just ask them all the questions you have.
Bounce off of each other. That's always a good idea. Our next question comes from Angelina. I was just accepted to come in as a freshman. I'm looking at either the Moorstrong or Cone residence halls. Which one is better? I hate to say that any of our residence halls are better than another, but I will say that the one you live in is going to be the best one. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, definitely. And you can always go into the Housing and Residence Life website to see the dimensions of each building and see what amenities do you want, because I know there are some rooms that are going to be a little bit smaller, but they're going to be newer, and you can control the air conditioning, and it's going to be carpet and stuff like that. And there's places like Moorstrong that don't have carpet, but you have a sink inside. So I would just go onto that website and see the dimensions, and then you'll find your perfect one.
Nice. Who did live on campus? You
I
guys
still
did.
do.
Okay.
Yeah, I still
What, where did you start and where are you now?
I started in Grogan with the Grogan Residential College, and now I stay in Jefferson Suites.
Okay. And how about you?
I was in Ragsdale Mendenhall.
Okay.
And now I'm in the Quad. I'm in Bailey.
Nice. What is a residential college?
So a residential college is basically a 2-year program where you take classes in your residence hall. So if you have a 9 a.m. but you wake up at, let's say 9:50, but it's downstairs so you can wear your pajamas, just go downstairs and go to that class. Basically the purpose of residential colleges are to make more of a community, and each one has a focus that they focus on. So you can go onto their website and see which one. There's 3 of them: Grogan, Ashby, and Strong.
Nice. What's living in the Quad like? How's it different from like a traditional style room?
Well, it's a suite style. So I know we have 3 people in our suite. It's me and my roommate Tyler, and then my friend Brandon, and we're connected via the bathroom. So
Okay.
Brandon has his own room. We all share the bathroom, and then me and Tyler have our own. I really like living in the Quad because it's very central, like on campus. So it's close to everything. You have Fleming Gym, which is where women's basketball plays, like right outside. The Student Health Center is just like a 2-minute walk away. You have the CAF, which is like another 2 minutes, like just that away. So it's very like central. So you can get everywhere like relatively quickly.
Nice. What's being a commuter student like too?
Initially it was harder for me to get used to since a lot of the organizations and stuff are on campus and I'm not on campus all the time. Like I think the first year I was like so keen on just like getting home after I took my classes, and then I started to make friends and I was like, well, I want to be on campus more. So I'm here till like 7 p.m. every day.
Okay.
But it's not so bad. I think I grew to like it more just because I get to live at home and my mom cooks. So I don't have to step foot in the kitchen, which is good for everyone involved.
We've got, is it 10 or 11 first-year residence halls, and all of them are located next to the Student Health Center, next to the CAF, and next to most all of your classes, maybe like a 5 or 10 minute walk. So it's a very well laid out system because all of our residence halls are in a very good locations. That way you can just kind of go hop to class and then go to the dining hall and be able to get yourself something to eat. Talk about the dining hall. Who had or still has a meal plan? Okay. What are the two different options for like first year students?
So for first year students, you can have unlimited or Spiral 15. Basically, our currency on campus is going to be flex. So for unlimited, you get unlimited swipes into the CAF with $100 in flex, and then Spiral 15 is going to be 15 swipes in the CAF per week with $250 in flex. So for my freshman year, the CAF was basically like me and my friends' like meeting area. Is where we hung out. So we would go in maybe like at 12, get our first plate, sit and talk for like an hour, and then get our second plate. So that one swipe gets you in for as long as you want. You can stay as long as you want. So that's kind of like a really good plus that we have.
Nice. And then they kind of grow and expand almost once you are no longer a freshman. And the point at which you're no longer a freshman is when you have reached 15 credit hours. No, excuse me, 30, because 15 and 15 each semester. Sorry. This question comes from Charles, and he just says, talk more about the communications major. Maybe we already have, but talk more about it.
I don't know. I really love it. They have like a communications, like, what is it, fraternity thing that they have.
Like the honor society.
Yeah, it's kind of like an honor society. Really. But I guess we can talk about the disciplinary honors. So basically I get to do research and hone in on like communication studies. So I'm really excited to do that and really get to know communication studies as like a field. There's just a lot of opportunities with communications, and you can really take communications anywhere. But when you come here, you'll really love it, and hopefully you'll leave. And you can be in my communications class.
Nice. One differentiation I think that we should make is a lot of people come to UNCG and say, hey, I want to be on the news. I want to go film news stories or stuff like that. And they say, I'm going to major in communications. Great, you can major in communications, but also there's another major that you can go into called media studies, and that is kind of the film studies part of it, so you can learn more about the production aspects. If you wanted to be in front of the camera, then definitely go into communications, because that is where you're going to master all of your speaking skills, all of your communication skills. If you wanted to be behind the camera, if you want to be the one pushing all the buttons, I would definitely recommend media studies, because it is a fantastic major, it's a fantastic experience, and you're going to love all of it. I'm not biased or anything like that either. We do have a question from Tanya who says, how is the UNCG Bachelor of Arts in Theater program? And that's another one of those that's in the CBPA, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know really like the ins and outs of everything, but I do hear that lots of people do like taking like the Bachelor of Arts, whether it's music, like studio art, theater, because those are like the most flexible out of all the majors. So you're able to take like more elective classes, and there's just more like wiggle room. So like if you want to do like a double major, you want to have like a double minor or something, it's just easier that way for you, just to make your time easier to manage.
Nice. Very few people actually may know this about me. I started out life at UNCG as a theater major. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The only reason that I wanted to switch my major to media studies is because I wanted to push different buttons. I started out as a lighting design concentration, and then I heard someone talking about media studies, and they talked about some of the classes that they took, and I was like, maybe I should check that out. And so I did, and I kind of fell more in love with media studies than with theater. But it's definitely a rigorous thing that you're going to become very good at whatever concentration it is that you're going to go into. So it can be acting, it can be stage design, it can be stage managing, it can be lighting, it can be sound. I think that's all of them, but it's a pretty intense thing, but it's definitely very, very rewarding once you graduate, and then you're able to go off like Chris Chalk and be on a bunch of nice network TV. So that's pretty cool. If you don't know who Chris Chalk is, Google him, because he's a pretty cool guy who graduated from UNCG. Let's move to this question from Asia. How is the UNCG psychology department? I don't think we have any psychology majors, but I know Psych 101 or something is one of those required classes that we all have to take, right?
Yeah, I took 121.
121 maybe, that's it.
Maybe, yeah, I think that might be it. I don't know. I have a couple friends who are psych majors who are also pre-med. That's another option you could do. You still have to take all the prerequisites, but you end up with like a bio minor and a chemistry minor because you take enough classes for that. But from everyone I've heard of, they say they love it because it's a lot of like the first couple classes. If you've already taken AP Psych, you might know about this already, but if you haven't, there's a lot of like learning about studies and knowing who did what study and like what the study signified and like a lot of term stuff. But then I think once you get further into it, it becomes more like conceptual and like obviously it depends on the professor because they change their classes. They can organize class the way they like to, but after that it becomes more into like the whole like mind thing, which sounds really cool to me.
I mean, I'm in general psych now.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah, I'm in general psych right now, and I'm loving it so far, and it's only the second week of school.
Okay, good.
Oh,
Well,
that's great.
good. We've got a question from John. Are there any pre-med clubs or organizations that we have?
Yes, there's a couple. There's one called MAPS, which is Minority Association Pre-Med Students. I'm pretty sure. I might have that wrong. There's also the AAMC club. I don't know the name. I just know they have a lot of events. They send you emails. If you've already been admitted, they'll add you to the call. It's like a second major. It doesn't really count as, you can't major in pre-med, but they'll add it as a second major, and then you'll get added to a Canvas page, which is Canvas is our
Like online learning platform.
yeah. So you'll get a Canvas page, and there's tons and tons of helpful links on there about what you need to do to prepare for being a pre-med, if it's for you, if there's another pre-professional program that might fit you better. But the AAMC, they hold like mock interviews and things. You can go in and like, to get into medical school, you have to interview with someone once you pass the first and secondary application status levels. But you would sit down and they'll ask you questions that they would ask you during an interview, and it's like great practice for stuff like that. They also offer like a bunch of other resources. It's really helpful. But in general, once you start going here and once you start classes and stuff and you get accommodated with the Canvas page, I think that's really helpful. There's a lot of links on there that you might like to look at.
Nice. And I think those exist within, if not to all of our majors, at least all of our schools that we have here. So whether it be Health and Human Sciences or College of Visual and Performing Arts or Arts and Sciences or Nursing or Education, we've got a support system as well as like honor societies and different things that you're able to join so that way you can meet other people who are in the same boat as you. One question that we've got from Alejandro. I recently was accepted for the upcoming fall semester. Congratulations. I was wondering if it's too early to start registering for classes. When will that happen? Congratulations.
So you register for classes during your SOAR session, or if you somehow come a little bit later, your advisor will be in contact with you, but it's typically going to be at SOAR. It's going to be like a really quick process, and you can just tell your advisor like what are the things that you're interested in taking. I recommend go ahead and getting your general education courses out of the way, because as soon as you get those done, you're going to be just smooth sailing into your major, taking all the kind of classes that you like and love. And yeah, but you can start thinking of classes that you're interested in. You can also go into our university's registrar and just see the courses that we have available and just start making the list of what you're interested in.
Mm-hmm. And Alpha, what is like the 2-day process of SOAR like?
So the 2-day process of SOAR, it consists of like academic welcomes. So like when you get to SOAR, you're going to register. There's going to be a giant welcome for parents, students, and then we'll end up sending them like out and about throughout like the EUC and around campus to go meet heads of different departments, of different schools, and then there'll be a bunch of different informational sessions. So you'll learn about financial aid, study abroad. There's so many, I can't even list all of them. And then it's really just getting accustomed to the school. So the first day is pretty long. We go until night, and then you guys stay on campus. And then day 2 is when you actually register for your classes. And then that's about a half-day long thing, and then you can be on your way from there.
Cool. And if anyone is wondering what SOAR means, it's Spartan Orientation, Advising, and Registration. The registration begins, I believe, February 18th. That is when you'll be able to sign up for your SOAR session. We offer different sessions throughout the month of June or July, I believe, June. And you'll be able to sign up for that, and that is where all of the class registration and all of the orientation and all of that stuff happens. So it's definitely a busy time when you come here for SOAR. But one really cool thing about it is that you're able to stay here on campus for the night. So you get a really good idea of what living here on campus is like. Which brings us to one of our other questions from Victoria. What is living on campus like? What are some of the pros and cons? And we've got people who kind of have touched on that a little bit. So you said one of the pros is that you get to go home and have parents cook for you sometimes, all the time.
Sometimes.
Is there any recommendation for our folks who did live on campus? You're probably going to recommend your own residence hall, aren't you?
The quad is really nice.
Nice. So once you get here for SOAR, you kind of are a little bit better acquainted for living on campus. So that's kind of when you get a better idea of what it's all going to be like. However, our Housing and Residence Life website is pretty cool, has nice features because you're able to get almost like a virtual tour of your residence hall. So you get to see all of the ones that we have got on campus. And we've got 3 different styles of living on campus as well. We've got like our traditional residence halls where you've got 2 people sharing a room and then a hall bathroom. That's probably the one that you're going to be in for your freshman year. And then once you graduate out of your freshman year, you can move in to either a suite on campus or into an on-campus apartment, or you do have the option to live off campus. None of our students are required at all to live on campus, but I lived on campus for 3 years. I definitely recommend it. So it's a very, very nice thing that we've got here. And if you're interested in looking into all of the different options and styles that we've got, please go visit our housing website. That is just hrl.uncg.edu, and you'll be able to get a tour of everything there. Let's see. One question from John, who's going to medical school. Dude, good job. Do you have an affiliated medical school associated with UNCG? Not really. We've got schools within the UNC system that have medical school. Chapel Hill comes to mind. I know there's others, aren't there? Or maybe not.
Yeah, Chapel Hill,
ECU.
Wake Forest, ECU,
Mhm.
I feel like you're missing Duke.
Yeah, of course. Dude.
I think that the Campbell University also has a school, but that's osteopathic medicine, so that's DO. There's 2 types of medical school. There's allopathic or osteopathic. Most people, like the traditional doctor sense that you see in like a hospital is allopathic, but osteopathic is definitely something that's becoming more common. I don't know for sure.
I'll take your word for it. So within the university system of North Carolina, we've got like 17 public schools. And then there's other ones that are like private, so that would be Wake Forest, Duke, Campbell, stuff like that. So within the university system, within those 17 schools, Chapel Hill is the one that comes to mind the most. And then we've got, of course, Wake Forest and Duke and all the other ones. And then the doors open if you wanted to go out of North Carolina as well. You might have to pay out-of-state tuition, which is not fun, but it's up to you.
There are some affordable options.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Does anyone know anything about the UNCG Guarantee Scholarship?
I do not.
I can tell you that it's a full ride scholarship. The UNCG Guarantee is one of those scholarships that's very, very selective. I think, is it one person a year receives that scholarship? or it might be more than that, I can't quite remember. But it is for very high achieving, low income students. So if that qualifies you, or if you qualify for that, we do have a website for that. I believe it's guarantee.uncg.edu. But give that a Google search. They do have a phone number that you're welcome to call, and if you call here to the admissions office, we will be happy to get you in contact with them, so that way they can tell you the correct information, because off the top of my head, I don't quite remember. I know that it's very selective, and you do have to go through, I believe, an interview process. You have to go through a selection process for that. But definitely get in touch with the right folks, so that way they can tell you the right information. One question from Natasha: what is the public speaking, or excuse me, is public speaking a required freshman course?
It is. Everyone has to do a public speaking class. Typically they do communication studies 105, I believe. And then that kind of like pairs with the writing intensive requirements as well.
To be honest, I haven't taken that yet.
No?
Oh.
Writing,
Oh.
I think I'm going to take English 102 because that's what's required for me, but I haven't taken it yet.
writing intensives are intensive.
Yeah. And that's why you go to the Writing Center, which brings us to our next question. Have any of you guys used the Writing Center?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yes.
Saved my English grade.
Okay. Yeah. What do they do in the Writing Center? Like, how does it help?
So you can take like any paper that you're working on, and then they'll like read over it for like grammatical errors, and just better phrasing also overall. And they'll just work with you and just like go over your assignments with you, just make sure that like your paper is like the best it can be. And it's really helpful, especially when you have those really long papers, because you're guaranteed to miss something, and just having an extra set of eyes on it does wonders, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, what they did for me was I sat there and they were like, do you want to read it out loud or should I? And then somebody reads it out loud, and then we look for grammatical errors, or like after a paragraph's over, they'll go over and say, maybe change this, or might be a better phrasing for this. It was so helpful.
Mm-hmm. And they kind of do similar things in the Speaking Center too, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
The one question from John Ashika: do you know if we've got any study sessions for the MCAT?
Yeah, they actually have a course on campus that they offer. I think, I'm not sure if it's in the fall, but I know definitely they have one going on in the spring for the MCAT specifically. You have to pay for that because it's through either Kaplan or Princeton. They have one of the MCAT review like institution things, but they offer a course every Tuesday 6 to 9, and you have to pay for it. I think they discount it like $500. It's like a big discount. You could do that. They also offer a couple free study sessions like a couple times a year. There's online things you can take if that's what you want to do. Otherwise, I think at least get the books. Like there's a lot of books. You can go to a bookstore or look online. I'm currently reviewing for the MCAT, and I have the Kaplan books, and I find that they're really helpful, but it's very intensive and they're very dense books. So, but yeah.
2 questions from Adam and Zandra. Are you able to get a dorm to yourself, and are all freshman dorms community bathrooms?
You are allowed to get a room by yourself, but you're obviously going to have to pay to buy the entire room out. But most freshman dorms are going to be communal bathrooms, which they clean them regularly. So, and typically people like to have their bathroom clean. I don't know who has their bathroom completely dirty. I don't know if I could live with if your bathroom is dirty. But I wouldn't worry about it too much because you'll kind of get like a bathroom buddy and you'll see the same people in the bathroom. You can make new friends. I mean, just think of the positives. Just the positives.
Yeah. All right. I will say it is most likely going to be that you're going to be sharing a room whenever you get here. It can happen that you are able to receive a room without a roommate. Like Michaela said, you're going to pay for it. However, you get used to your roommates really quickly and you form really, really good bonds with them, and it's a really, really close relationship, of course. But you do get to experience something that you may have not experienced before, and that's kind of what we're all about too, I think. So That's one of those really important and also interesting aspects of coming to college that you can experience.
Behind the camera here, hello everyone. Could you speak a little bit about the roommate matching?
Yeah.
Because that's really unique, and I think that kind of helps with the fear of having a random person
Yeah.
living in a room with you.
Definitely. So I knew people, like I said, from my high school that were coming here, but I didn't want to, do that whole don't room with someone that you know thing, because they always say that you'll find a lot about someone. So I did go the random route. Basically how it works, you fill out a questionnaire about all of your habits. So like if you sleep late, if you play music, what time do you do your homework, how do you want your schedule to look like, stuff like that. So they find someone that has like the similar qualities, but they also promise that it's not going to always match up. But for me it did. For my freshman year, she was a dance major, and at the time I was a dance minor, so we just kind of clicked, and we still talk now. She's kind of like my best friend, so I can always rely on her. So I would definitely try that route, but honestly, if it doesn't work out, they do have like a grace period, where if it's not working out, I think it's maybe a week or two once you get moved in. If you're not really liking how your living situation is, you can do like a swap out. But yeah, it's really, I encourage everyone to do a random roommate at least once, because you'll learn a lot about yourself and how you live.
I was gonna ask you about the thing where, like, if you had a friend and rooming with a friend, because I've heard a lot of my friends who've done that, they said don't do it. Just like do the random thing, because they can actually see your habits that way and match you up with someone that has similar habits. So I didn't know.
Yeah, they did a really good job my freshman year, like a really good job.
Yeah, I can honestly say the same thing, because I like to stay up late. But my roommate at the time was a really deep sleeper, so like I could like play music or like just watch TV, and he would just be like, so.
Not too bad. I will say, you don't know someone until you live with them. I got lucky with my random roommate. I think that's going to be something that you hear pretty, well, almost across the board. I have heard of students who had to change. But also in that grace period, if you meet somebody else who's not your roommate that you just really, really click with and you form a really close bond with, then you're able to switch that out and it's not going to be a problem, and then hopefully it works out well for everyone. One question that we've got from Anaya: thank you for all of the advice. I received my letter of admission already. Congratulations. And I was thinking about majoring in something dealing with child or maternal health. What would y'all advise I do and to be set up for success?
Child or maternal health?
I'm trying to think, because I know that there is a major for it. Like, I can't place the name right now.
I want to say it's HDFS.
Yeah, we do have health, human development and family
Development.
studies. That would be something, and it does go into a lot of like the medical aspect as well as the social and emotional and behavioral aspects as well. So that could be something to look into. Would be human development and family studies, or psychology, public health as well. Give us a call and we would be happy to be able to direct you toward the right area, so that way they can give you the full rundown of all of the different things that we've got able to offer. And of course, you're always able to do either a double major or a major and a minor, or maybe a major and a double minor, or whatever combination that works best for you, whatever piques your interest the most. That is always something that is available and something that you can do. Our next question: do you know how the reverse transfer program works at UNCG? I'm going to be there as a pre-nursing major, and I already have credit hours that I'll be able to transfer to my associate's degree in nursing while earning my bachelor's. The reverse transfer program is a pretty cool program because it allows you to kind of retroactively receive your associate's degree. So once you transfer here to UNCG, you would actually just order your transcript from our registrar's office to be sent to wherever it is that you're receiving your associate's degree in nursing, and then all of the benefits kind of apply after you get in. So give us a call, because we do have counselors that work specifically with our transfer students, and they'd be able to give you the most accurate information. I feel like I've said that a lot, but they would be able to do that, because not many students do our reverse transfer program, but it is something that is an option for you if that applies to you. One question: are freshmen able to live in suite-style dorms?
I think so.
I think if you were to live in a suite style, you have to be pulled in by an upperclassman, and that's what I think is true.
Yeah,
I
that
wouldn't
sounds about
quote-
right.
Okay, I wouldn't quote me on it, but that's what I think is true. But most of the time, you're going to be in a traditional.
Nice. Why are you not supposed to walk under the clock?
It's bad mojo.
Just don't do it.
Whether you believe superstitions or not, why try it?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to risk it. Just
Yeah.
stay away from it.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, they say that if you walk under the clock, you won't graduate on time. So,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I see people walk under it.
Yeah, I
and
do
get,
too.
And I get scared. I'm like,
Yeah, I know.
oh my God, it's you. Did you see that?
you just said what?
I have tapped a stranger on the shoulder and showed him that someone walked under it because I was so scared for that person.
Yeah. Usually, I think if you just like willingly walk under it, you already know you're not going to graduate. Like you're just accepting that fate. It's okay. I don't know where the tradition started. I just know you're not supposed to do it.
Yeah.
And I've heard of times when it did happen, and I'm so afraid now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can only walk under it like when you graduate, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard someone
That's
walked
what they
under
do.
like the day before graduation and something magically happened. So I just hear that story and I'm like, okay, yep, Michaela, no.
Yeah.
That may have
Try
been a,
True, but
You never know.
but yeah, don't risk it. It's fine.
Yeah. 2 questions from Julian Alejandro. When will we get FAFSA information? If you have already filled out the FAFSA, UNCG is going to be making our awards and sending you your award letters, I believe early March. Call up the financial aid office and they'd be able to tell you that for sure, but I believe that it is happening in early March. The FAFSA is able to be filled out right now, so you can go ahead and do that and we will try to award you as much aid as possible, but shooting for early March, I think, is when we're going to be sending out the award notifications. And it's going to be sent to you in an email, so make sure to keep on the lookout for that. One question from Christina. I've been admitted for the fall semester, and I was wondering when we would be able to select our residence halls and if housing goes fast. I can't remember when selection happens. Is it at SOAR or before?
I think it might be before.
I
yeah.
think it is before.
It's before.
Because
Selecting the residence hall
Mhm.
is during, when you apply for housing,
Okay.
you
February
you
18th.
select
Mhm.
your top choices.
Okay. Yeah, and the housing application becomes available on February 18th. So
Yeah,
that
that's
is.
Facebook
Oh yeah, and that'll be our next Facebook live stream is too. So join us on February 18th, and we'll talk about FAFSA and housing. One question from Destiny. Hi, I just got in. Congratulations. I'm not sure if we've touched on this. Maybe, I don't know. The president of the Interact Club was wondering if there's a community service-based club at UNCG. I believe there is.
Yes, I completely forgot. It just blanked.
I know we've got the Office of Leadership and Service Learning,
Yeah.
and they kind of coordinate all
Yeah.
of those different organizations and things as well, too.
Yeah, I highly recommend doing the leadership challenge
Mhm.
because although you are required to do some community service through the challenge, you also learn a lot about yourself, your leadership style, just so that you can grow in your leadership roles. So I will look out for those. There's bronze, silver, and gold, and they have a ceremony and everything. You get a medal. It's really cute. But there's also a club called Grow, Girls Reaching Out, and it's basically a bunch of girls that meet up bi-weekly, I believe, on Thursdays, and they basically just talk about community service and just do community service. So if that's something you're interested in, you can find them at Fall Fest and all those kind of things.
Nice.
Also, last year, like last spring, I went on a service trip, which I don't know how often they have them, but they have them here, and it was great. I made some great friends. I learned a lot about our community. Just like, I think the one I went on was like based on food deserts, because Greensboro is a food desert, and you learn a lot, and they teach you so much, and like you learn like the ways that you can help, and like it's just the smallest things that you'd never think of, but it's so helpful.
Nice.
It's really great.
One question from Asia. How is the study abroad program? I don't remember if anyone has studied abroad. You have? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Talk about that for just a quick
I
second.
100% recommend it. Do it, please. We have the International Honors College. You said you wanted to. I really think you should. I went to Finland, but it was the best experience of my life. I loved it. I got to travel all over Europe. I made like such great friends, and we're trying to plan something this summer, fingers crossed. But it was, oh my gosh, it was so amazing. You learn so much about a different culture. We have so many places you could go. Like, we have an office, I think it's in the Faust building, but we have a study abroad office, and they're so helpful. You can go over there and say, I don't know where I want to go, but I want to go somewhere. And they'll like talk you through all the different programs, look at your major and anything else you're interested in studying, and they'll like look up programs that are like specially catered to your needs, which was great for me because as a pre-med major, I can't take any like biology classes outside of America. So when I went abroad, I took all gen eds, and I learned so much about like Finnish culture. It was so cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, in our final 5 minutes, we're going to kind of do a little quick fire round. One question from Diamond: do all freshmen have to take an 8 a.m. class?
No.
No, because I didn't take an 8 a.m. class until this semester, so you can make it so that you don't.
Yeah.
I only ever took one. If you're a morning person, great, go do it. Not for me. Are transfer students allowed to stay overnight during SOAR? I think.
You want
For,
to take it?
for our transfer sessions, there's going to be 1 day, so they don't typically stay overnight.
Nice. Does anyone know anything about the sociology major?
I was a friend of sociology minor, and I've taken a sociology class, but that's sort of it. It's a lot of people studies. That's,
People watching, if you're into that. I think it's like the study of people's behavior and why we do what we do and all of that. Give us a call, of course, and we'll be able to direct you over to the people who would be able to tell you for sure. Let's see, someone's son has been recently admitted, congratulations son, and is interested in pre-pharmacy. How does that work? You're pre-med, it's kind of similar, isn't it?
it's a very similar track. You take all the required courses, which obviously are listed online, but it's a lot of biology and chemistry courses. But you would apply, you can either take a gap year and apply after senior year, otherwise you'd apply in the summer of junior year. And I don't know the exact application process, but as soon as he gets set up on the Canvas page, which is our system, you can declare that as a second major, which you can talk to an advisor about doing that, and then you get added to the page, and there's tons and tons of links. And I don't know if there's a club specifically for pre-pharmacy, but a lot of the clubs are generalized as pre-professional. So.
And whenever we say like pre-medical or pre-pharmacy, that's what we would call a pre-professional program. So it's going to set you up on the right path to go to medical school, to go to pharmacy school, to go to physical therapy school or veterinary or whatever. It's preparing you well enough to go get a secondary degree. So like your master's, your doctorate, whatever happens after your bachelor's. If I have a 504, will I be able to get accommodations in my classes and taking tests? If that's anything like an IEP, yes, absolutely. And we've got an office here called OARS. That is the Office of Accessibility Resources and Services. They're always very, very helpful for folks who need any kind of different accommodations or anything like that. They'd be able to help you out. Do any of us have any information on being able to be a student tutor, especially in the writing center?
I'm not sure if that's a different application program, but it should be around the same thing. Typically they want you, if you are a new student, like I don't know if you were recently admitted or admitted previously, but they want you to generally get like an A in a class, or like a professor recommendation is what you typically need, and a grade I think higher than a B+. But you can apply and then they'll call you in for an interview.
Cool. One question from Charles. I start in the fall as a transfer student. When should I contact an advisor and sit down with them to make sure that I'm on the right track with my major? When SOAR happens, so that would be, no, sorry, I lied.
Before, sorry. Hi, behind the camera again.
There we go.
Charles, I'm actually responding to you right now. But you're going to need to get your credits evaluated. So you can call our office and we'll put you in touch with the right people to make sure that that happens. But once you get your credit evaluation in hand, from there you can go ahead and contact your advisor. I don't think registration is actually open yet for the fall. So you're going to have to hang tight for a while, but you can go ahead and have that meeting and start planning. They're not going to not talk to you. They would love to talk to you sooner than later. So.
Yeah. Cool. Also, along the same lines, I had this year's FAFSA sent to UNCG already. When will that show up on my online portal to see my awards? Early March. We're going to send you a notification through email, so that way you can see what your award notification is. Next question from Aaliyah. Are only honors students eligible for Blue and Gold scholarships? No, not necessarily. However, the Blue and Gold scholarships have already been awarded, so hopefully you have been notified of that if you've received one. Of course, you are still able to receive scholarships and different awards through our financial aid office, as long as you fill out the FAFSA, so make sure you do that. Adam asks, how is the fashion design program? Do we know?
I hear it's pretty good.
Yeah, I hear it's pretty good. They have a lot of fashion clubs. If you're kind of thinking of like the CARS department, which is Consumer Apparel and Retail Studies, they have a lot of opportunities there. I have a friend that just recently, instead of having class for the first week, she went to New York for a week, and they just got to meet all of these like companies like Gap, Champion, and all these really cool things, and make all those connections. So like they are really good about like making sure you're making those connections and networking and doing all those things to get you prepared. And they have fashion shows, so.
Nice. I've been to several of the fashion shows that we have. They're fantastic, and I would not have believed that students working here on campus have created some of the things that they have. I had a really good friend, who graduated recently with their degree in apparel product design, and they now work for the Almost Famous company in New York. So they are very, very well equipped to go do what it is that they want to do, and they're doing what they love. Aaliyah asks, do you only get your financial aid award letters after you've paid the enrollment fee? We do not have an enrollment fee. However, you do have to accept the offer of enrollment to receive your award. Now that kind of gets you into an awkward situation where you don't know if you want to accept before seeing your award, but you can't. Our acceptance and your confirmation is non-binding. So if you want to accept, then you can decline later on. And all of the information that I'm telling you may or may not be right. I can't remember.
I'm actually, hi again, hi Cameron. I'm actually hesitating on that. You do not have to, you don't have to accept your offer in order to get your financial aid. You do have to have a complete application package. You have to be admitted, and then you'll receive a financial aid offer package later this spring. I want to say it's late March, early April. But you don't know who I am. I'm behind the camera. I don't know. I don't quote me on that, but it's a little bit later in the spring.
Yeah, definitely give us a call. We'd be able to get you in the right direction.
Yeah, we can connect you.
I don't really remember. Sorry. Let's see. But one big thing about that, we do not have an enrollment fee. So there's no deposit that you have to pay in order to save your spot. As long as you hit yes, I'm coming, then you're coming and you're good. Do we have creative writing or journalism clubs at UNCG? I know we have creative writing. I don't know about journalism, I think.
I know there's Spartan TV.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure about journalism.
Cool. One question from Tracy. For high school students, when do you recommend that they visit campus? Anytime.
Yeah.
Really, anytime.
Junior and senior year is definitely our most popular time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
When will the next live stream be? February 18th. Let's see. Anaya had a recent visit from Claire King. She's one of our admissions counselors. I love Claire. She was actually in the office today. You weren't able to ask her your question. Oh, that's unfortunate. About the minimum required classes. I know that colleges require 4 maths. If you've taken the required classes and are now taking advanced placement classes but not doing so well, how would that impact your decision? That's one of those situations that we'd have to work out with you, not over live stream on Facebook. Give us a call because we'd be able to look at your situation and tell you a little bit more specific information about like how that class is going and what kind of way that you can take it and make sure that you're getting correct information and all of the right stuff. So that way you're not gonna, not do well. Let's see. Allison asks our last question, do you have to be a part of a residential college in order to live in those dorms? You do, right?
Yes.
Yes. Well, friends, we've gone 5 minutes over our time, but that's okay. I'm glad that y'all asked all of your questions. Do y'all have anything that you want to say to wrap us up? I think we've said it. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. We're all very appreciative that you got all of your questions answered, I hope. If we were not able to answer your question for whatever reason, we are going to be sticking around in the comments section for just a few minutes. And also, always give us a phone call here at the admissions office and we will be able to direct you into the right direction so that way we can give you the most accurate information as possible. Thank you so much for joining us. Registration for Destination UNCG, which is our event for admitted students, is available, so you can sign up for that on Spartan Link. Also, our next Facebook live stream is going to be on February 18th. That is the day that the housing application becomes available, as well as registration for SOAR. Thank you all so much for joining us. Hope you had a wonderful time. I know we did. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.